So what is Pass Assault? It's the name of my weekly news and rumor series that I'll be starting here on Tech for Thought. It's going wild over in Britain. The BBC is reporting that several 5G towers have been subject to arson attacks after a bizarre conspiracy spread online that claims the wavelength produced spreads the coronavirus, as well as suppresses the populace immune system, making them more vulnerable. Obviously, this conspiracy is probably false, but that didn't prevent several telecom engineers from being assaulted either. This is just the latest in many of the health myths growing around 5G, but this is by far the most destructive result thus far. And while 5G has landed on several health organizations' lists of possible carcinogens, so has many of the trusted signals we already have, like Wi-Fi. Furthermore, even the high-frequency millimeter waves offered by some carriers fall well below the threshold of being considered ionizing radiation on the EM spectrum. But you know, I don't care if it gives me cancer, as long as I could post faster. Moving on to our next subject, who said budget phones have gone out of style? LG just unveiled their Style 3, a budget phone to be released exclusively for customers of Japan's Docomo call carrier, the largest in their country. The Style 3 will cost about 38,000 yen, which is roughly the equivalent of $350 US. Despite being so cost-effective, the specs are nothing to complain about. The Style 3 rolls up with a 6.1-inch OLED 1440p display, 64GB of expandable storage, and a Snapdragon 845, which despite its age is still a very capable processor, as most of the advancements from Snapdragon in the past couple years have been primarily in the GPU department. The one aspect is kind of worrying is their 4GB of RAM on paper. However, that doesn't seem to necessarily be an issue. For comparisons, Google's budget Pixel 3a also has the same amount of memory. And on top of that, Android and other phone OSs in general have gotten really good about their RAM management. Finally, the Style 3 is armed with 48-megapixel rear camera paired with a depth sensor, and an 8-megapixel selfie camera contained in a dummy thick notch, all powered by a 3500 mAh battery. It's slated for release later this year in June. Despite being a Japan exclusive, it's good to see cell phone makers having such beefy offerings in their budget lineups, and it's pretty hard to go wrong with any phone at any price point nowadays. I just hope it doesn't boot loop. You know what else I hope to get my hands on? The new PS5 controller. Sony revealed their DualSense Controller, which will be paired with their upcoming PlayStation 5, and if things continue as scheduled, will release later this year. The DualSense not only departs from the DualShock moniker that Sony has gone with since the original PlayStation, but also represents the most significant design change since the time period as well. The DualSense features a black and white mixed color theme, as well as a more filled out shape, closer to an Xbox One controller. Furthermore, the large touchpad is apparent, and past the surface, Sony promises unrivaled haptic feedback, powered in part by new adaptive triggers. There are a load of features packed into this new thing, including a built-in microphone, which we all know are gonna suck, and my favorite part, it charges off USB-C. Yes! Yes! Sony, unfortunately, kept the notorious light bar, which was a scapegoat used for the DualShock 4's poor battery life. However, it's been repositioned and appears smaller, so hopefully it won't be an issue this time around. The controller will probably feel plenty familiar for PlayStation fans, as Sony elected to keep their inline stick design and overall button layout the same. I do wonder what Sony's excuse will be this time if it has battery issues though. And with that, that's going to do it for this week's tech-related Salt. Make sure you like the video, subscribe for more content, and hit that notification bell as well. Follow us on Twitter at tech_for_thought, and if video games are more your thing, check out our affiliates, cultureofgaming.com, for all of the latest gaming news, reviews, and opinion pieces. See you next time!